The Nevada Campus Protection Act is going to be heard on the Senate floor, and Carrie Herbertson, NRA Islands Nevada State Liaison, joins us tonight to talk about it. Carrie, good evening.
Good evening, Cam. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So this week, the Nevada State Senate is expected to take up SB 231, right?
That's correct. It passed out of committee, and it is now, we've waited a couple of weeks to kind of get our feet set a little bit and some amendments that went through, and so it's likely going to be on third reading later this week. So we are definitely motivating and activating our members to contact their state senators. And, these things, sometimes they always come down to the last day, the last minute, the last, vote, and we're not assuming anything. I believe that, we do have the votes, but I think it'll be close. And so I just, in learning the lessons as Texas has gone down the road and Tennessee and other states prior, hate to say in Arizona as well, this is not the most palatable of issues to everybody across the board, which is kind of how it's been in Nevada. There hasn't been anything that's been, just even slightly controversial in the last number of years. So this is kind of that bill that we are keeping an eye on every step of the way, and we are not going to assume anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I know that when the bill got its first hearing, Amanda Collins, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Spoke in support of this. She was a student at the University of Nevada there in Reno, and she was the victim of a brutal sexual assault on campus.
Yes, she was.
She was a right to carry holder.
She was, and I feel like now we can talk a little bit more freely about Amanda's situation because she pretty much really didn't out herself as a rape victim until the actual day of the hearing, which was barely 5 weeks ago. So we've not really had an opportunity to talk about it a whole lot. There's been a couple of news stories about it, but in 2007, Amanda was a victim of a serial rapist. She was the very first victim, and he went to rape one more and then abducted, raped, and murdered his final victim. And so Amanda knew that there was a no guns on campus policy, so she was abiding by the law. She had been shooting ever since, she could barely walk. So this is a young woman that's very familiar with firearms. And so she was holding to the campus policy. She did not carry on campus. And, she did everything right by self-defense standard in terms of, checking around your vicinity and checking your car and everything else. But when you're practically 5 foot nothing and weigh about 100 pounds soaking wet, you're really not a match physically without something in your hand, such as a firearm, against a 6'2", 200-plus pound rapist.
Yeah.
And so she endured the rape, and obviously, as Breanna Dennison, it became clear that there was an abduction and a murder. Amanda was instrumental in identifying him. She provided the police with a sketch, and they happen to believe that if he had known that she had seen his face, that she likely would have endured the same fate as Breanna. But as we've gone down this road, clearly, we've come to discover that Amanda is the one and only individual that's ever gotten a permit to carry concealed on the University of Nevada Reno campus, and that was post-rape. They gave her permission. So at that point in time, the horse was already well out of the barn, and there was another rape and a murder. So Breanna Dennison's mom was in the state capitol in Nevada, in Carson City, lobbying on another bill related to this case, and she made it very clear to the legislators when asked. She said, I believe that if Amanda Collins had the chance to defend herself with a firearm, that her daughter would be alive today. So that's pretty powerful from, a mom that is clearly still grieving. And so unlike some of the other states, which I know that they've advanced on the merits of the bill, this is really a unique situation in which we have an individual that, an individual that can say honestly, this could have prevented my rape, and or if not, then at least protected 2 more rapes and a subsequent murder. So she has a very powerful story, and she is an extremely committed young woman.
Well, and again, we hear so many slurs and slanders, I think, against right to carry holders when it comes to the issue of campus carry. And when they're talking about, when you hear these university officials talk about the students who are too irresponsible, who are alcoholics and druggies and just way too immature. And then you actually hear from a student who is a right to carry holder, somebody like Amanda. And you know what? All of the straw man arguments that these university officials put up are just torn down if you listen to her for 5 minutes.
Yeah, she has a very good message, and I would defy anybody that looks her in the face that says that I would deny you the right to defend yourself in any event, whether you're on the campus or off the campus. I mean, look her in the eye and say that you would deny her choice of self-defense. So we're going to be going to the state capitol tomorrow. Amanda is meeting me in Carson City, and we're going to lobby some of the senators. And I would defy any senator to say that they're not going to be voting for this.
Yeah.
So look at it. I want you to look at Amanda and tell her that. So see the look in her parents' eye. And it doesn't always have to be personal, but in this situation, it has become a personal crusade on her part. And it's she has a very powerful voice. Absolutely.
Well, any idea when this week the vote could be coming in the Senate? Carrie?
It's probably, I would say, Thursday or Friday. I'm guessing it's going to be in the latter part of the week. And again, if I do want to let you all know that that not this week, a week from this coming Friday the 29th, we have been invited to participate in a rally at the gun store. It's called The Gun Store in Las Vegas, which I think you guys went to when you were in Las Vegas.
We did, yes.
Show. Yeah, Bob Irwin, the owner of the gun store, is going to be hosting a rally in support of Campus Carry, and Amanda is coming down from Carson City. She's going to be speaking to the crowd, and the whole purpose of it is to raise awareness and support for the Nevada Campus Protection Act in Clark County, where we have a number of legislators that are still sitting on the fence. So the whole purpose of it, and again, we're hoping that it gets out of the Senate this week, but once it gets over to the opposite house is really when the battle is more likely going to begin. So we're hoping to have people show up for it and come out, and we have a number of invited guests, and so I think it's going to be a good time. It's Friday the 29th at 7 p.m. at the gun store on Tropicana.
All right, Carrie, glad you could join us tonight. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to talking to you very soon.
Thanks, Cam.
Carrie Herbertson, NRA ILA's Nevada State Liaison.